And hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Pride. Welcome to Get a Grip with Coach Elex. I'm your host, Coach Elex. With me, my amazing co host,
The
who,
birthday boy.
hold on, who today happens to have a very, very special celebration that he looks forward to the whole year. Today's your birthday.
Happy birthday, Stephen Frederick Masick.
Happy birthday to you.
Flag Day, June 14th, Gemini. It doesn't get any better.
Did you say what? Flag? What kind of day? Flag day?
It just doesn't get any better.
I almost didn't hear you right. But anyways, happy birthday. And how appropriate that your birthday falls during our most amazing month of June, which we celebrate Pride.
Yes.
It was like you were born in the right month,
Yes.
even though you're Gemini, and that also means trouble. Lots of trouble.
I don't believe that. Nor do I agree.
So how are you doing? And tell people what are you planning? How are you planning to celebrate your birthday? How is your amazing husband gonna take care of you?
I don't know. When I meet him, I'll tell you. So I'm not really sure. I celebrate my birthday just like I celebrate every day. I just get a little more animated and excited and look for signs from my loved ones in spirit. Like I had this morning a major sign that I was running this morning out in the back. We have like 25 plus acres of woods, and there's trails, and that's what I do. I trail run, and as I was running sort of center of the woods, I'm coming down the path, and I look up and I see this rose color balloon just like filled, just heading down, like where I was running, I was going to hit where it was heading down to the path. So I stopped and was like for a second and just stopped everything, my run, and grabbed my phone and took a picture of it as it was floating down. And then it came, like it landed about, I don't know, maybe about 10 feet in front of me. And it's in the shape of a star. And it is definitely, as I always get on my birthday, some amazing signs. Because the fact that this balloon somehow got through the tree line in the woods, in the center of the woods, and didn't get stuck on a branch or something is just, as I put on social media, just magical.
It really is magical. And I think there's so many messages. It's a star, so because you are a star, it comes from, it was pink, like a rose color, and that's your grandma Rose. Is your spiritual guy, like your number one.
Yes.
And then he has the numbers 10-7 in the back, which are my month and date of birth, which is, they include me in your celebration. I love that.
So many levels, so many angles. It's just it's one of those, it's one of those moments like we all get when we get those signs. You just want to absorb it and keep it as long as you can. And the way you keep it is you write it down. You get a little journal, and every time you have one of those signs, you date it and you write it down and include whatever you'd like to, whether you know who it's from or whether you don't know who it's from. And as I always say, you thank your loved ones in spirit after you get the sign. That is a must for you to get even more signs. So to answer your question, because I didn't,
I am aware that you didn't answer the question. So go ahead.
But it's my birthday, so I can say and do whatever I want, right? That's how this works.
Mark, if you're listening to this, can you please acknowledge that he does and says whatever he wants any time of the day, any time of the year, not just on his birthday? Those of you who know Stephen know I'm telling the truth. So go ahead.
Mark and I are very close. He wouldn't throw me under the bus like that.
Yeah, he's afraid. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, come on. So you are taking me to NYC. We're going to New York City tomorrow morning, taking the Acela train at 6:15, I think you said.
Yeah, super early in the morning.
And it takes like 3 hours to get you right into Penn Station. And then we are free until Monday morning when we come back to do whatever we want. But one of the things that Elix has done is tomorrow night, we're going to dinner at one if by land, two if by sea, which is I know Elix knows more like the top 5, top 10 romantic restaurants.
Top
We've been there.
five, top five most romantic in the world.
So how about that? And then you listen. Then you add us to it. It doesn't get any better, right? And, you know, and we knew the previous owner. And then he sold the restaurant, and now Elix, lo and behold, knows the new owner of this major restaurant. And when I say no, Elix and him are texting back and forth. So I'm like, you know, Elix just has his way with people.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So, you know, a shout out to Gieto Nica, who is the owner of One by Land, Two by Sea, and he's extraordinary. Talk about somebody who runs a business in an extraordinary way. That would be that man. And I know he's going to take absolutely incredible care of you tomorrow.
The restaurant is amazing.
Or else, I already told him, you know, he better. So,
but that restaurant is amazing. It is the location. It's, you know, we always. I'm not sure if they've changed it, but we'd always sit at this particular table, and right outside these windows, and you just look out the windows, and there's a garden there. It's an enclosed garden. It's like a garden inside, like big skyscraper kind of garden. But we've been there in the wintertime when there's snow and it's beautiful. And there's a little girl ghost that lives in that in that restaurant. And every time we go, she comes up to us.
yeah. Hey, by the way, Stephen, Mark has a special announcement. So, Mark, whenever you're ready, go ahead. World.
You know, we've got a lot. You know, this weekend with NYC, which I am more than excited. I just love going there. The weather is supposed to be gorgeous. You know, like in the 70s and low humidity. It's going to be perfect. And then next weekend we're heading up to New Hampshire I'm doing an event, and we're staying over because it's such a long drive. The following weekend I have a book signing one day. The next day I have an event here on the Cape at Dunn & Sons, and that's been sold out. And then I think the following weekend after that, families coming from Florida and New York. We're all spending 4th of July here. It's a lot.
But we're going to Nantucket Island. By the way, we're not staying in New Hampshire. We're staying in Salem, Massachusetts, which
Yes.
is another favorite town of ours.
We love.
And Stephen, talk about Barnes and Nobles. Hello.
Well,
Sort of
yes.
like a big deal.
That is a huge deal because on the 29th of June, a Saturday at 2 o'clock, I will be at the Barnes & Noble in Wareham, Mass. to do my first book signing. My book came out, The Suicide Gift, December 8th of 2023. Oh, someone's calling. Hello. How may I help you?
It's not me. So go. It must be spirit, actually.
I think it is.
All kinds of signs for you. So go ahead.
So I'm doing it 2 to 4. So if you're around, please come in and say hi. You can get a book. You can have your book signed. And the really cool thing about what I do is it's 2 to 4. So the first hour I'm doing book signing, and then the second hour I am doing readings in this little sort of just private area in the bookstore. So shout out to Nicole who set all this up. She is amazing. And then in October, I have such a great weekend plan because on the same day I'm doing 2 book readings or book signings in Barnes & Noble, one in Glastonbury and one in, oh boy, I can't remember. One's at 12, one's at 5 on the same day. That's going to be pretty incredible.
Amazing. Also amazing.
Enfield.
And the thing
Enfield.
is,
That's
right, in Connecticut. And the thing is, if you're listening, you know, Barnes & Noble is a nationwide, company. So you could contact your local Barnes & Nobles and request that Stephen the Medium comes in and does a book signing. And he, what makes him really special is that he does he does the book signing, and then he adds a special reading for the people who come in. So how awesome is that?
Listen, you come in, you get this amazing book. I personalize it, and then you stay for a reading. I don't think it gets any better than that.
I don't think so. I think that's
Right?
pretty extraordinary. I don't know, Mr. Clark, are you with us here, or are you are you somewhere out there?
He's dialing overseas, I think.
I just want to make sure. Just let me know if you're with us, or if I should just
Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Well, well, first of all, happy birthday, Stephen.
Thank you, Mark Clark.
And I hope you like what I posted for you on Facebook this morning.
I not only loved it, a lot of people loved it.
Of course. Tell people that's Dorothy from Golden Girls.
Yeah, the episode of her birthday. I love it, Mark. It was just the perfect, appropriate thing for me.
What was the name of a clown? I couldn't remember.
The clown.
Mr.
Where she takes him to, where Rose takes her.
Yeah,
to
no, I know where. Yeah,
blah 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 blah.
Mr. Ho or something. I couldn't remember.
Ho Ho. Yeah, it's Ho Ho,
Ho-Ho.
isn't it? Yeah,
no.
Ho Ho.
Ho Ho. No,
Yeah, it's Ho
that
Ho.
doesn't sound. I don't know, but we're close.
Where-
We're close. If somebody knows what it is, just put it on the our comments on our live. So, anything else you want to add, Mark?
Yes, hold on 1 second here.
Oh, God. I love this.
That is so. You know what? I swear, this is Steven is gonna be playing this tune every day for the rest of the month. And singing "It's My Birthday" to let people know that it is his birthday. So how amazing is that?
Mark, thank you. That I love it. I appreciate it. It's just a not surprising coming from you because you're just that kind of guy.
And you know what? I don't remember him playing a song like that for me during my birthday.
Oh, Mark,
I just do not
see what
remember that.
happens,
I'll have to play back my episode just to double check, but I don't think so.
It's Mr. Haha. Haha.
Mr. Haha, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
Mr.
it.
Haha.
Thank
That
you.
makes perfect sense. But listen, it is 4:15. We are celebrating Pride Month, and we're super, super excited to have an amazing guest. We have an amazing subject, breaking the rules, making your own, which, by the way, is perfect for you, Stephen, because that's how you've lived your whole life.
Yes.
And today we have an amazing, amazing guest, somebody that I just love and adore. I consider her an incredible friend and colleague, Iris Fernandez, a Puerto Rican fellow colleague. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to start an amazing conversation. Break the rules, make your own. We'll be right back.
Should I do something like? It's gonna.
Oh.
And hello, everyone. Welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Helix. I am your host, Coach Helix. With me, my amazing co-host,
Stephen Frederick is here.
Stephen Frederick, who happens to be an attorney, a medium, and also my amazing husband. And today we are super excited because we have an incredible guest and an incredible conversation. We are celebrating Pride Month. June is Pride Month across the nation, and I don't know if it's the world, but we are celebrating Pride Month, and we are dedicating our show today to diversity and on uplifting the LGBTQ plus voices, the LGBTQ plus culture, and the support of LGBTQ plus rights. Today we are talking to one of our own. She's not afraid to speak out and remind everyone of their worth, dignity, and belonging. My friend, because I consider her a friend. She's a new friend, but it feels like we've been connected forever. She's a friend, fellow Puerto Rican, and a colleague. Iris Fernandez Valdez is a trans Puerto Rican coach who is increasing diversity in the field while promoting health and equity and justice through her work. Her hope is for everyone that they can join and fearlessly fight for better lives and rights. What an amazing, amazing purpose in life. So please welcome my friend and colleague, fellow Puerto Rican, Iris. Hello, Iris. Hola.
Oli, hi.
Hi, Iris.
Iris, how are you? Welcome to our show. How are you?
I am smiling from one ear to the other. I feel so proud and honored to be in the show with you and talking again with you and with Stephen. What a way to celebrate Pride.
And we are so honored that you accepted our invitation to join us here today. For our listeners who are meeting you for the first time, so why don't you start by telling them a little bit about you and about your personal journey that has led you to become who you are today and has led you to lead this amazing purpose, to live with fear and to make your rules, make your own rules.
Yes. Well, I'm trans, soy boricua, and I'm a health and well-being coach. I wasn't always someone who takes care of other people and who dedicates myself to the health and well-being of others. I actually studied computer science. I was a little bit of a nerd back in the day, but this is before I was really in touch with myself and before I really allowed myself to follow my heart, which has always been directed towards helping others. And so I had just a wonderful, amazing opportunity to join a group of folks who were doing stress and anxiety management coaching a few years ago when I was working at a startup. And that completely changed my life. It felt so fulfilling to be able to share my experience and my experience with other people around meditation and mindfulness and see the impact that it had in just a few weeks, that I decided that that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I had a career change. Now it's my business. I'm a trans queer business owner, Boricua business owner, and every day I wake up, like you said, with a really strong purpose to help queer people feel connected with themselves and each other, to help the people who love queer people feel connected with us and supporting us as well. And I couldn't be happier.
In Iris, you've mentioned the term Boricua twice. And I know what it means, and Steven certainly knows what it means because he himself considers himself a Boricua. But Iris, why don't you explain to our listeners what a Boricua is?
Oh, thank you. Of course. Boricua is another way to say Puerto Rican. And it is the term used by the originally the indigenous peoples to refer to themselves and the communities who lived in the archipelago of Puerto Rico, which is the main island, but also the minor islands around it that are part of the same, archipelago. And so Boricua is the way that we, many of us who have lived there or identify strongly with the culture will use for ourselves. And it's related to the term Boriquen, which is another name for the island.
And for us, for our people, and that's how we met. We were at a conference, Harvard's Institute of Coaching conference in Boston, and I was introducing myself. And then what happened, Iris? You heard my voice, my alleged accent, and what happened?
Yeah, it was. I mean, first of all, that conference was so amazing. I still feel fulfilled from it, and it was the very first day where some folks are introducing ourselves to the group, and it was actually a group to tackle diversity, equity, inclusion topics within the coaching industry. And Elix, you start to introduce yourself, and I immediately recognize your accent. It's like, we are from the same place. And lo and behold, it turns out that not only are we Boricua or Puerto Rican, but we're actually from the same hometown, from Ponce.
From Ponce. That's amazing. And it was an immediate connection. And that is the thing. I mean, a lot of people don't understand that. But there is this connection. There's this thing that we have for one another, that when we see another Boricua, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, we're immediately connected. We immediately see ourselves as family to each other. And but Iris' connection was much, much deeper than that. And I'm so glad, because Iris also had an opportunity to get to know Stephen during that conference as well. Iris, one of the things that I love, it's inspiring hearing you talk about your own inspiration, your own, how you're so dedicated to living this purpose, to living a life that, that belief that everyone has an inherent worth, dignity, belonging.
Mm-hmm.
What inspires you? What grounds you to carry on that purpose every day?
What a good question. What's coming for me is, I was just with a client earlier today, and she's the mother of an adult child who may be transitioning, and she wants to be the best mother that she can be. And in our first conversation, she speaks about what grounds her, and it's common humanity. And I think that's always something that I've been attuned to since I was a young child, was recognizing that everyone around me who I saw, regardless of age, regardless of what we look like, or like gender differences, I've always felt attracted to the common humanity that we have. And I think something that's important for me to share here is not the common humanity in spite of our differences. It's not pretending that the differences are not there, but actually what makes us different is part of that common humanity. It is human to be different. And when I am grounded in always remembering that every single person that I ever interact with, even if they hurt me, even if we feel disconnected, even if I make a mistake and hurt them, that when I reach into that common humanity, there's hope that is born. And that is the hope of reconnecting and repairing and making a stronger bond than before. And throughout my whole life, well, not throughout my whole life, but in the last 5 years or so that I have really grounded myself in that purpose, I've noticed how large but not just how large, but how deep and how meaningful my sense of community and belonging has grown. And not only that for myself, but for the people who are part of my close circles, how their relationships have deepened too. And so I really believe that when I do the work, that I'm doing the work for other people too, and they can do the work. And the people around me, their life gets richer too.
That is so beautiful. And I know Stephen has questions for you, and I have plenty of questions for you. And I know our audience, our listeners want to hear more about you, about, what you're up to, about the community. But we do have to take a break, Edie. So, stay there, hang in there. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elix. I am your host, Coach Elix, and with me, my amazing co-host,
Stephen the Medium.
Stephen
Oh, the birthday boy.
The birthday boy, my amazing husband, and also an attorney. And also today, we are celebrating Pride Month. And our subject today is breaking the rules, making your own. And today we have one of our own, Iris Fernandez Valdez. Iris, welcome back to our show. And before I ask you, because I just said to Stephen, you know what, this is going to have to be part one of a series of conversations. So I'm telling you right now, we're going to have you back again and again, because it's a great opportunity for you to keep sharing knowledge that it's missing in our community. But I know Stephen has some questions for you. So Stephen, go ahead.
Edie's, hello. I will tell you something, Edie's. When I met you, and I was fortunate enough to go meet you guys after the conference, and we went to dinner, one of the things that struck me about you is that you're sitting with three relative strangers. Like you had just met Elix, and Donna was also there. It was the four of us. But what struck me was your authenticity, how you just shared with us some of the things that you had been through, which were just, I was getting goose pimples when you were talking about it, like many trans individuals go through. How, for anyone who's listening now, or when the show goes into a podcast and many more hundreds of thousands of people are going to listen to this, Edie's, when you're speaking right now, you are so collected and like you just want to listen to you. But those times that you were in that place that you felt like I don't know how I'm going to get through this. I don't know how I'm going to get back up after maybe you so many things had hit you and you were just almost like on the floor sitting there. How did you get out of that? How did you get the strength? Like for people to hear this, tell me your process. Tell me what made Edie's strong enough to say, you know what, I'm not staying here.
Yeah, wow. Thank you so much, Stephen. First of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
What made me strong? So I hear your question, and my mind immediately goes to 10 years ago, actually, the summer of 2014. And that was when I had a suicide attempt. And that marks a really crucial turning point in my life, because it was clear to me that I wanted something to be over. And at that time, I thought that what I wanted to be over was my life. I wanted to be over living. And I wanted the pain that I was experiencing to go away. And that experience of suicidality is something that many trans people have experienced in their life at one point or another. And with time, what I realized was that I didn't want to leave this world, but that I wanted to move in this world and in this life in a different way. What I realized after that experience was that I was ready to throw away my life because I didn't recognize it as my own. And if my life wasn't really my own, why would I hold it as precious? Now, how did I arrive at that conclusion? How did I really get to that place of insight where I realized that I had been living a lie and give myself permission to explore what was so scary, which was to ask myself, who am I? Really, who do I want to be? Who have I always been? And what made that possible was other people's love. What made that possible was my friend Manny Lopez. He was a student at Brown University like me, and he saved my life because he was willing to be with me through my pain without judgment. Who made that possible? Shababa, at the time also, be willing to be with my pain without judgment and without feeling threatened themselves by my pain. Who made that possible? My current life, Mona, and so many other different friends who showed me what it means to commit to someone and to love someone even when they don't understand me. Right? They loved me when they didn't understand me, which meant that it gave me permission to be honest with myself and say, I don't understand. And so by being surrounded by people who were willing to sit in confusion with me, I was able to grow curious. I was able to explore. I was able to be adventurous and playful and discover for myself what is my life? What is the life that I hold precious? Because I believe everyone has a life that we hold precious. And when we are in touch with that meaning, then we become unshakable, I think.
You know, it is, as I'm listening to you, what I'm most present to is you talk about, you know, that group of individuals who was your support structure, because here you are living a life with the purpose of being the rock for those who are struggling, who may be where you were 10 plus years ago, right? And, you know, and I wondered, just like, you know, Stephen was asking you, how did you have that rock that you are for others, for yourself? And clearly, it sounds like you had, you know, a source of individuals who were supportive. But I'm also clear that you had individuals who were not supportive, individuals who lacked understanding, who lacked knowledge, who lacked empathy. But what I'm most present to is that the power of the love that you were getting from this core network was much greater than the power of the lack of knowledge, the lack of you know the
ignorance.
The ignorance, yeah. I'm looking for a better word to describe what I'm feeling, but clearly, love, it's very powerful, and that is really what has guided you through.
Yeah, and I think you're referring to, you know, about me that I'm very disconnected to a lot of my family. We're Puerto Rican, and Elix and I, you and I both know how important family is in our culture. My whole connection to my culture as I grew up was through my family. And I'm proud to say that I have a good connection with my siblings who have been a source of support for me throughout this process. But that's not true with my parents. And it's not true with most of my aunts and uncles and people who I was really close to when I was growing up. And I think what you're getting to is that if I had not been exposed to other forms of support and love, I would probably still be stuck trying to make something work with people who don't want to make things work in a way that doesn't serve me and it doesn't serve them.
Or you may not be here. You may, or you may not have been here today. Or I may not be here.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. That's. Mm-hmm.
And it is, that is the reality in our community. You know, there are statistics that, you know, there is a very high percentage of suicide attempts, suicides in our community because of
or deaths of despair through substance use.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You were saying because?
No, I'm just saying because of that, you know, of that lack of empathy, of that lack of support, or people just turning their backs. Let me just ask you, what do you think is the biggest misconception out there? I mean, we have an opportunity. Here you are, you know, and I know I love our show because our show is an opportunity to really bring people to conversations, get them comfortable with uncomfortable conversations, and really use the time to educate our community. But what do you think? So let's use that time to do that. What do you think are the biggest misconceptions about trans people and people in the LGBTQ plus community?
Yeah.
What are the biggest
it's such an important question. The first thing that comes to me is specifically around the trans and the gender expansive community. And I do want to say that everyone who considers themselves, you know, trans, gender, some people prefer the term transsexual, some people are gender nonconforming, some people are non-binary. So it's a big umbrella. And what I want to preface this is that I'm going to speak of my own experience. Now, I don't want to speak for everyone. That's really important.
Yes.
And the term "the invisible girl" comes to mind. Because what people don't understand, and I think it's at the heart and the root of transphobia or just confusion, is that, like, it's this idea that I'm a man who wants to be a woman, right? And they'll say things like, I read it online, and I see it in articles, like, well, you know, if you just accepted you were a man, then honestly it would be easier on my end. If you just said you're a man and you know, just say I'm a man and I want to wear dresses or whatever. And I hear that, and it can be disheartening, because at the heart of this is that there's an idea that my body determines my soul and who I am in terms of what it means for me to express myself, how I communicate with other people, the way that I think, the things that I do. And so that experience for someone growing up it feels like I am invisible. I am invisible. I am invisible. People see someone who I'm not. They refuse to see who I really am. They refused it back then. They refuse it now. And part of the transition process, whatever that looks like for many people, is a dialogue where I'm trying to show you who it is that I am so that you actually see it. And I'm going to tell a story that kind of captures this a little bit more, because it can be difficult to understand, and that's fine. That's normal.
Iris, do me a favor. I want to hear the story. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, you can tell us your story. Yes, please. We'll be right back. And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elix. I'm your host, Coach Elix, and with me, my amazing co-host,
Stephen Frederick.
Stephen the Medium, my amazing co-host and husband and birthday boy today. And we are celebrating Pride Month. And today we are having a conversation with one of our own, Iris Fernandez Valdez, who is a fellow Puerto Rican, Boricua, a colleague of mine, and someone who knows all about breaking the rules, making your own. So, Iris, welcome back to our show. Tell us your story. Let's continue with that story.
So, I love it. Thank you for reminding me the title of today's show, right? Breaking your rules, making your own. Breaking the rules, making your own. Because that feels like my whole existence. Mm-hmm. And not because I seek out to break the rules, but because every time that I seek feeling happy and joyful and relaxed, when I was a child, I was reminded that I was breaking some rules that I didn't understand. Mm-hmm. And so maybe I was just feeling comfortable and relaxed, and the way that I spoke made people think that I was gay. And gay was against the rules. Or the way that I moved my hands and my gestures. People would say that's feminine, and that was breaking the rules.
Yes.
And so, since I was a very, very small child, I was constantly told that my being happy and relaxed, the way that I just normally did it without even thinking about it, was against the rules. And that for my parents to feel comfortable and for the kids in my school and my teachers and my community to feel comfortable around me, I had to police myself. I had to be not doing the thing that I normally do. Mm-hmm. And so on a subconscious level, I start creating a person, a way of being that honestly was miserable and angry and upset and anxious, but that was sufficiently fit in the rules for other people to feel comfortable. And the process of transition is the process of getting in touch with who I really am, that I've been literally pushing down into a dark place and not allowing to be there because it might upset someone. And so,
in that ups,
mm-hmm.
So it may upset someone at your expense, at the cost of your
at my
happiness,
expense. Yeah.
Fulfillment. Yes,
because I'm not hurting someone by twirling and being feminine and wearing makeup or wanting to wear a dress. People get afraid. People feel uncomfortable about it. So in some ways, it is having an impact, but I'm not hurting them. And a lot of the impact is actually people afraid to associate with someone like me. Mm. And then they blame me because they're afraid of being hurt by people who would hurt them for associating with me, when I'm not the source of the fear. I'm not the source of why people are uncomfortable. It's like, God forbid that you have a gay friend, because then you're one of them, you know?
Yes.
But, it wasn't that the gay person did anything to you, but now you associate gayness with that fear. And it's unfair, and it's a system of oppression where we get blamed for the bigotry. It's kind of like a self-perpetuating system, and all we're trying to do is just be happy and comfortable and relax. Mm-hmm. And to love the way that we know how to love.
There's nothing wrong with that. Stephen, anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, Iris, I can't imagine the number of souls that are listening now and that are going to listen again, as I talked about in the podcast, that you're going to help. And just the feeling of there's somebody else that's like me, there's somebody else that is succeeding, there's somebody else that's like me, and just sounds so good. Sounds like in such a great place. And someone who feels so courageous and strong and brave. You know, probably maybe those are not the best words, but just the feeling of listening to you is just going to, I'm sure for many people, just be that one piece of information, that one time they just needed to hear that to keep them going. And Iris, I applaud you for that.
Thank you. I really hope so. Living healthy for us is a political act. You know, every day, the days that I am giving up, the days that I feel miserable and depressed, because those days do exist, I remember it's important for me to live long and to live healthy, because I'm only able to be a business owner today. I'm only able to have rights because of everyone who didn't before me, everyone who has died from those deaths of despair and suicide and also murders and violence. And so, like, my health is written in the blood and the tears of our elders. And so for me, it's a responsibility to find ways to heal myself. It's for me a responsibility to find ways to heal other people who might not have yet that strength, but also to empower them and say, I do believe in your strength and your power to overcome this. It is possible.
And also what I'm hearing loud and clear is, listen, we silence, conformity doesn't support anyone. So that's why, listen, Stephen and I talk about this subject all the time. You know, often I introduce Stephen as my husband and somebody gets uncomfortable. Well, that's not my problem. I'm sorry, that's not my problem. That's your problem. You deal with it. But I'm not going to stop, and that's what I hear loud and clear from you. I'm not going to stop being who I am so that I can make you happy, because that's going to cost me significantly, and that clearly has cost you. And what is really important, it is that I want people, our listeners, to really get is, for you, this is also a safety issue. You know, it becomes a safety issue. People, you know, you've been confronted with some nastiness out there simply because they're uncomfortable, not because of anything that you've done. No. And the only way that we can change that is by you gotta speak out. You know, you actually shared this with me, and I haven't stopped thinking about it and even speaking about it. You said to me when we met, don't ask, don't tell doesn't work. It didn't, then it doesn't now. We've been there, done that. And you know what? That doesn't work. Don't ask, don't tell does not work. So we're not here to just be quiet because it makes you comfortable. No, actually, I want you to be uncomfortable, because during that discomfort is when we actually grow and learn. It is, there's people, like Stephen said, I'm sure there's parents listening, there's siblings listening who may know someone, who may be a friend of someone, who may be, you know, have a family member that is experiencing, you know, some of the things that you talked about. There may be people here who may be listening and saying, oh my God, that is me. I am you. What would you tell them? What is your takeaway for these individuals today? Listen.
Listen to yourself. Listen to the people around you. Do tell, like you said, right? Do tell. Tell your story. Find the people who are willing to listen to your story. Listen to other people's story. Even if we're uncomfortable with each other, let's embrace that. Let's engage that. Let us take care of ourselves as we become uncomfortable too, right? There's no need to push discomfort. But like you said, discomfort and uncomfort is where we grow. And, you know, honestly, this idea of making myself small so that people are safe or more comfortable, that's actually a fallacy. By living happy and healthy and large and visible, I've actually helped more people grow. And we can all do that.
So fabulous, so fabulous. I'm so proud of you, Iris. I'm so honored. Oh my goodness. I feel that you're like an angel that angel that came into our lives. And I'm super, super happy that that you're part of our family and that you got to meet Steven and that we can embrace you as one of ours. Thank you so much for sharing your
Thank
time,
you.
your attention with us and our listeners so beautifully. And I want to invite you to come back to our show because this is a
You know I'm
conversation
there.
yeah, this is a conversation that needs, this is part one. If you're listening, I promise you, we're going to have part two and part three coming up. But Iris, how can people get a hold of you if they want to connect with you, if they want to learn more about you? How can they find you?
Yeah.
Or where can they find you?
I have two websites. One is for the project that is under construction, and it's very easy. It's abetter.org, ABETTER.org. And you can sign up for my newsletter there. It also links to my other website, which is my personal website. It's Iris, IRIS-Fernandez, FERNANDEZ.com. Iris-Fernandez.com. And there you can click to get a 15-minute consultation to see, maybe I can help you or someone that you know.
Fabulous. How generous is that? Iris, thank you so much. Steven, anything
Thank
you want to say?
Iris. Thank you. I can't wait for the next time.
Thank you, thank you,
Yes,
thank you.
happy birthday!
Thank you.
And to all of you listening, thank you for sharing your time, your attention with us so generously today. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will be back next week.
StephenTheMedium.com. Just saying. If you're looking to get in touch with me, just saying.
Thank you, Stephen Stephen the Medium, or Stephen the Medium anywhere on social media. And
yes,
of course, if you're not connected with me, Coachy Legs. That's how you.
Oh,
find
today
me.
the birthday boy.
Okay.
If you see me, say happy birthday.
Oh please! Oh my goodness! Please do. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Jim. Bye bye.